Hello friends, today we will be discussing about the diagnosis of PCOS. From last two videos we learned what is PCOS and what are the causes of PCOS. Now when we know that the exact cause of PCOS is not known, so naturally the diagnosis is going to be after exclusion of other factors which could be responsible for irregular menses and features of hyperandrogenism. And diagnosis in teenagers differs a little than that in adults. So let's first discuss about the diagnosis of PCOS in adult women. Widely we use Rotterdam criteria for diagnosis, and this criteria has given us 3 points. First is irregular menses along with oligo or anovulation, that means her periods are infrequent, her ovulation is infrequent. Second criteria is hyperandrogenism, clinical or biochemical. Clinical means she has abnormal facial hair growth or hair growth on chest, abdomen, back, thighs, etc. Then abnormal male pattern type of hair loss or acne. She may or may not have clinical features. Then go for blood test. If her blood test shows raised androgen levels, that means she has biochemical hyperandrogenism. And the third criteria is polycystic ovaries. If her ultrasound shows polycystic ovaries, multiple follicles in the ovaries and increased size of the ovary, then she could be a case of PCOS. But the diagnosis does not end here. We have to rule out other factors which could be responsible. So what are these factors? This could be thyroid dysfunction, prolactin dysfunction, non-classical congenital adrenal hyperplasia, Cushing syndrome, or maybe androgen secreting ovarian or adrenal tumor. So she will need certain blood tests and ultrasound etc. to know and rule out these factors. If she is a case of hypothyroidism or if she is a case of hyperprolactinemia, she has to be managed accordingly. Then comes the diagnosis in teenagers. As I said, the diagnosis of PCOS in teenagers is little different. Why so? Because these girls are growing towards adulthood. When we discuss the first criteria, which is irregular menses, most of the girls after menarche, that means after her first menses, they have irregular cycles. First 2 to 3 years, especially 1 year after menarche or 1 year, within 1 year of menarche, if her periods are irregular, maybe she doesn't get her period for 1.5, 2 months or 2.5 months. That is absolutely normal. Do not label her as a case of PCOS. She just needs assurance. Then after 1 year of menarche, if her periods are irregular, that means she is getting her menses within 21 days, less than 21 days or more than 45 days, then we can say that she could be a case of PCOS. She is just a suspected case of PCOS, and here she should be evaluated for biochemical markers for hyperandrogenism and look for clinical features as well for hyperandrogenism. But after 3 years of menarche, right, after her menses 3 years have crossed and still she has her periods irregular, then she should be evaluated on the features of PCOS and other factors responsible for irregular menses. Then coming to second criteria, which is hyperandrogenism. A girl of 14-15 years of age can come with generalized body hair, excess growth of body hair. But here it is very important to differentiate between physiological hair growth and pathological hair growth. So this can be done only after detailed history and thorough examination associated with certain tests. Because these growing girls, their hormones are increasing, so the androgen levels are also increased. So they may have little more hair growth on their body, but we have to differentiate between physiological and pathological. And how do we do that? Look at the pattern of hair. If the hair growth is generalized or if it is at specific areas, then whether the hair growth is aggressive and rapidly growing hair, or it is just a slow progress hair growth, or look for the consistency of the hair or the color of the hair, whether the hair are thin and light colored or they are coarse, dark and male pattern type of hair. Also associated features like presence of stria or stretch marks on the body or maybe change in her voice. So there are certain factors which are going to decide whether her hair growth is physiological or pathological. Then coming to third one, which is the ultrasound report. In teenage girls, the ovaries are increasing in size till she attains reproductive maturity. So her ovarian size may be little more, and she has multifollicular ovaries because the ovaries are growing. So these are normal. We cannot say that she is a case of PCOS in teenage girls because of her ovarian size or multifollicular ovarian appearance on ultrasound. Another factor is in teenage girls who are not sexually active, it is difficult to count the number of follicles or the number of cysts she has in her ovaries, because transvaginal method is a better method to evaluate the ovaries in detail. So here comes the importance of ultrasound, and that is why ultrasound is not advised to diagnose PCOS in teenage girls, though it should be done to rule out other factors or other pathological features in her pelvis, or to know the exact phenotype of the PCOS. So in teenage girls, the diagnosis is little different. At the end, I would say that teenager girls should be taken seriously when they come with irregular menses or hair growth, just to avoid overdiagnosis or wrong diagnosis and to avoid wrong treatment later on, and also to prevent her from further consequences of PCOS if we miss the diagnosis. So that's all for today. Hope you liked the video. Wait for next video to know about the management of PCOS in teenagers as well as in adults. Thank you very much.